DF Memphis with Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6. It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolo.
Look up on the wall. There on the wall.
Good Monday morning. The Tigers get a signature win. Move up in the polls, 23 in the coaches poll, just outside of the AP poll. They're 26. What's wrong with these AP voters? They don't believe. They've got NIU in front of Memphis. We'll get into the college football players in the group of five in just a second. We got medals coming your way. John Thompson will join us on college football, in particular the SEC. A lot tomorrow on the NFL. And we'll get a little bit of that at 10:45 today, our last segment with TJ Reeves. Plenty of drama in the National Football League. And all of a sudden, the New Orleans Saints are just juggernauts in this league. What's happened to Baltimore? All kinds of crazy things. Can't wait to get more into that. Mike Keith will join us tomorrow as the Titans start off the year 0-2. So let's take a look, because we're going to be talking about this all year long. Memphis gets this win at Florida State. And so people are now like ESPN.com. They've got Memphis in the playoff, and they've got them playing at Georgia as a 5 seed and Memphis the 12 seed. Which is terrific because according to the AP poll, it would be Northern Illinois that would get in. So Tigers get that signature win at Florida State, but NIU has their win at Notre Dame. Toledo, same league in the MAC, they've got a signature win at Mississippi State. Not quite as big, I don't think. Yeah, the Bulldogs are 1-2. The Seminoles are 0-3. Doesn't look good for Jeff Levy's team, I'll tell you. And Matt Barnes, his defense, well, he's defensive back coach there, but Toledo scores 41 points on him? Eesh, that's brutal. They're going to take care of each other, Toledo or NIU. I mean, if Toledo beats NIU, that's the end of the NIU Notre Dame magic. That helps Memphis. Here's a team you better worry about, UNLV. They have now beaten 2 Big 12 teams at Houston, at Kansas, but they still have Syracuse left. They have Oregon State left, which looked pretty pedestrian against Oregon. And then they got Boise, the other team you got to worry about. Boise has their one loss, but it was close at Oregon, 37-31. Memphis keeps winning. NIU loses. I don't think Toledo will have an opponent on their resume that could knock off Memphis if the Tigers keep winning. It's certainly interesting for certain, and it's going to be fun to watch every week. Now the Tigers go to Annapolis. Always tough to play at Navy. They got a new OC to go with a second-year new head coach, and Tigers already 10-point favorites. Maybe it's 10.5 in that game. But it's always hard to play in Navy Marine Stadium, that is for sure. All right, we do a thing every Monday morning. Zach Boyd and I do our precious metals as we sit here in the Family Leisure Studio. Still got a couple more weeks for the world's biggest spa sale, where you can save thousands on in-stock hot tubs, which these spas can start at under $3,000, actually $28.99. Cold plunges, the new thing. They start at under $4,000. Swim spas, the big ones, they're the Cadillacs. They start at $17,499. There is special financing available at Family Leisure. All right, I got so many medals, Zach Boyd. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Texas, the Longhorns. They have now surpassed both Georgia and Ohio State. They are the number 1 team in the country by the AP. The last time the Longhorns were on top of the AP poll was 2008. And they're in the right league, right? Everybody believes in the SEC. I got to give a bronze medal to Tennessee and Ole Miss's offenses. They're prolific. The Vols have scored 191 points in 3 games, almost 64 points a game. The Rebels, 168 points in 3 games. That's 56 points. Now, both these teams have played one Power 5 team. Well, yeah. And in the case of the Vols, it was a ranked team in NC State. Now, that was on a neutral. Ole Miss on the road went and scored big against Wake Forest. If you total up their points, 6 total games, the Vols and the Rebs have scored 359 points. That's absurd. And then my final bronze medal goes to the USA women, who won the Solheim Cup. It's the first time they have won it since 2017. 15.5, 12.5 was the final. But this thing did come down to the last 2 or 3 holes. It was scary for a little bit. And the odd thing was, in the singles competition, they did not blow them away. It was in the doubles, where Europeans usually are great because they have this incredible bond. The Europeans got beat in the team play worse than they did in the singles. I got 3 silver medals. I got to give Las Vegas Aces forward Asia Wilson, who is the best female player in the game. Caitlin Clark may be the best rookie in the game, but Asia Wilson's the best player. We saw that in the Olympics, too. She is the first 1,000-point scorer in the history of the WNBA. She passed the 1,000-point mark in the 39th game. They play 40 games. No one's ever scored 1,000 points in a single season in the WNBA. I got to give the New Orleans Saints offense 91 points in 2 games. Who saw this coming from the Saints? Not me. They pounded the Cowboys yesterday, 44-19. How did Micah Parsons and that Cowboys defense give up 44 points? I could understand against Carolina the week before when they beat them big, but the Cowboys? Ooh. Already people taking shots at Dallas. And my final silver medal goes to the NFL in general, because I've given you the pounding that the Saints did to the Cowboys. Most of these games, in fact, 11 of the 15 games played so far this week. We have Monday Night Football tonight. That's the Falcons at the Eagles. This is incredible. 11 of the 15 were within a touchdown, a one-possession game to the end. That's what you want, a lot of drama, and they got that yesterday. And then my gold medal, it's easy. It's the Tiger football team. They have won their first Power 4 road game, first one since they beat Kansas in 2015, 9 years ago. But if you think about it now, that's their second Power 4 win in 4 games. They beat Iowa State, which is turning out to be a pretty good football team, in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, and then now they have beaten Florida State in 3 games later. Wow. Seth Hennigan, you realize he's now got 40 starts in a Memphis uniform? That's unheard of. Same team, a quarterback in college football having 40 starts? Never happens. How about this to make it even better? In every one of those starts, in every game he's played, all 40, he has thrown a touchdown pass. I don't know if we'll ever see that again. That's pretty darn amazing. Jordan Hankins, he has suffocating defense. They gang tackle. They don't miss tackles. Their speed to the ball is phenomenal. They are so well prepared, it seems as if the D knows the play as soon as it is snapped. In 3 games, they have given up only 9.7 points per game, and they gave up just the 1 touchdown to Florida State with an offensive line that had 366 total games of experience and 270 starts coming into the game. That's amazing. And Memphis shut them down. So much that ESPN.com has them in the playoffs. Both the predictors have them as the 12th seed. I mentioned that. Up against Georgia. And in fact, those two, both of them, have 3 SEC teams in the semifinals and 1 Big Ten. Texas, Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. That is how they have them. And those are my positive medals. Zach?
So my medals. Let's start with bronze. I'm gonna give a bronze to the Raiders and the Vikings, because those two teams that have beaten 2 playoff teams.
Yeah.
You would thought going into the game that both the Ravens and the 49ers were going to destroy both teams.
I agree. And who would have thought that the Baltimore Ravens would be 0-2?
Yeah, who would have thought that?
And you and I both thought they would win the game against the Chiefs in week 1. So now, a lot of upsets. In fact, by the way, I was 3-2 this week, 10-5 overall. You, 1-4. And now 5-10. You are 5 games behind me.
Hey, man. I'm trying, y'all.
I won't give you a rust, though. I know you're trying.
I'm trying. So Raiders, Vikings, big. I mean, the 97-yard touchdown pass to Justin Jefferson in that game, it was like really impressive. I was like,
absolutely.
Wait, how in the world are you gonna let him get away with a 97-yard touchdown pass? But watching the Cowboys game, we gave up 70 yards to Raheem Shaheed. So I can see that. Silver medals here. I got to give one to each to Caitlin Clark and to Asia Wilson. Like you mentioned, 1,000-point threshold for Asia Wilson. For Caitlin Clark, she set another rookie record, scoring 35 points in a game. I
think she's had 3 30-point game with 5 assists, and I don't know if that's ever been done either.
Yeah,
she's rookie of the year, no question.
Yeah,
she's gonna get it over Angel Reese.
Yeah. Caitlin Clark is gonna be rookie of the year over Angel Reese, as it should, just basing on performance and team success at the moment.
No doubt. One team made the playoffs, the other didn't.
Yeah, that's the crazy thing. Like I would never thought the Fever was going to make it to the playoffs.
Now, when they started, what was it? 1-7 or 2-8?
It was bad.
Yeah,
they flipped the script. So kudos to the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark. My other silver medal, I'm giving one to Archie Manning, man. Like it's tough enough to know that you're a talented quarterback and you gotta wait behind another talented quarterback to get your opportunity. But when the moment presented itself for Arch Manning, 4 touchdown passes plus a running touchdown. He was 9 of 12 for 223 yards in the game, like in relief role.
He truly was impressive. I would agree. Ewers got hurt, had an abdominal strain, and this kid came in and just wiped everybody out. And he can run. You know, Archie could run a little bit. Peyton couldn't run.
Eli couldn't
really run. But Cooper's son, Arch, can run.
Yeah, and wasn't his dad Cooper? Wasn't he like a receiver?
He was. He was. He had a some sort of spinal up by the neck.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was an injury or just a genetic thing that they discovered, and it was too dangerous for him to play. So I think he played or was on the team as a freshman at Ole Miss, and then they said it's too dangerous. You can't play.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we see where the legs are coming from.
Yeah.
One from Peyton and one from
his granddad could run. Archie could run. Archie was a heck of an athlete.
So I'm looking at Texas' next game. I know it's UL Monroe and then it's Mississippi State. So the next true test is not until in October against 15-ranked Oklahoma. And I don't know how long the
Texas, Oklahoma, you know. That's always in Dallas at the fairgrounds, at the Cotton Bowl, the old Cotton Bowl. And it's always, I think it's still there, it's always a competitive game no matter what.
And then my gold, I'm giving it to the Tigers, man. You go on the road to Dork Stadium, facing a desperate Florida State team. Did I say something wrong?
No,
Okay, you gave me a look like I messed up.
no,
So you
no.
go on the road.
I was just realized I had to look up something. That's all.
So go on the road, man. Like it's hard enough to win on the road, especially in college football, especially with these packed out stadiums. I mean, even though Florida State Stadium wasn't as packed out, still, you went on the road, you got the win. Florida State was desperate for a win. They're doing everything they can to get a win, and you withheld every single punch that they took in that game. Also in gold medal, shout out to Brendan Doyle and Anthony Lampier,
Yeah.
like two tight end tango with the Tigers. I mean, like if they're not running 12 personnel the rest of the season with those two, 22 personnel with two receivers and two tight ends the rest of the season, I'm thinking something is wrong, because both of those tight ends have been fantastic to start the season.
It is. It's just going to depend. Now, part of the reason why the tight ends are so open is that they're doubling Rock Taylor, because Rock is so good. And by the way, that one long pass from Hennigan to Rock, what a great throw. Still over the shoulder, looking back, got to really focus, and he makes that catch. That's not an easy catch. That is such a great combination. You ready for... Is that your goals? Okay. I got 3 rusts. First, we'll start with the Florida Gators, who fall to 1-2. Do you realize the Florida Boosters came out with an announcement? They've already raised the $26 million to buy him out. When you look at Florida's schedule, the last 5 or 6 games are all against teams that could be playoff teams. I mean, they're toast. He's toast. He's done. He's absolutely done. Mississippi State losing at home 41-17 to Toledo? Giving up 41 points to Toledo?
Man, that hurt my soul. I know, and Mississippi State's my second team, man. Like it's
ever since they become your second team, you've watched them just go down the tubes.
Oh gosh, I want to ring the cowbell so bad, man.
Yeah, you're not going to be ringing it much this year. And then my final rust goes to Mike Norvell. This is now the second time in the 5 years that he has been at Florida State that he has started the year 0-3. Now, he got a contract extension middle of last year that guarantees him $84 million. He's making $10 million this year. If he were to be bought out, he won't be. They're stuck with him because it would cost them $65 million at the end of this year to say sayonara. And I will let people know, Florida State is not as rich a program. That's why they're trying to get out of the ACC. They're not as rich a program as Florida. They don't have as many alumni as Florida. I don't think they have as many alumni maybe as Miami that are near the school, that are there all the time. I think they got a tough road to hoe. They're going to be... Norvell can turn it around. I do believe in Mike. I think he's a heck of a coach. But he picked 17 transfers that have not meshed this year, including a quarterback that just has no touch on the ball. He can throw a great long ball, but he does not have a sense of feel. And he was throwing 58% coming into the game, and I don't think he did any better than that. Tigers got the pick. He was hit when he threw that, but Tigers' defense is pretty good. They turned them over 3 times. The Tigers are now +6 on the year, 1 turnover, and that was a fluky interception that they got off of Kobe Drake's hands. That was crazy. But Mike and Florida State, I don't think they're going to solve the puzzle this year. I think they're going to struggle the whole year. They got a Cal team coming in that hasn't lost a game. Beat Auburn earlier in the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's going to be unfortunate, man. Like I hope he doesn't lose his job, but it's looking like the Florida State fans wants to call for his job. So, my rust, Dave. I'm giving one to Florida State as well. You had a week off to face this Memphis team, and you still laid an egg. That's a problem. is it wrong for me to give Georgia a rest? Like,
They won the game.
yeah, but
They won the game. Now, they did get moved out of first place on the AP poll.
is it?
Do you see here Kirby after the game? No, I mean, he's right. He says each year they've had a game that they struggled and almost lost. It's the SEC. It's not easy. South Carolina, not chopped liver. They beat, and Kentucky gave them a game.
Yeah.
So every week there's going to be close games. Kentucky, South Carolina, Georgia. Georgia's the best team, and they won the game, but it's not going to be a cakewalk for any of these guys.
It's not, and I wasn't expecting a cakewalk, but I was expecting them to come in and like kind of when you needed them to flex their muscles, they didn't flex them until until the final score.
They had to win the game, and they did.
They won the game for sure, but
Right.
it was like I'm starting to have questions about Georgia now, and that was like the thing last year where they were been the most dominant team all the way up until a certain point, and then it's like, can this Georgia team really be one of the best four? Now it'd be one of the best 12, so it doesn't matter. They're going to get in regardless. So, but I don't know.
They're 3-0. That's all that really counts.
It just gives me cause for pause.
I get you.
And then my other rest, I'm giving one to the Cowboys, man. Like that's 48. If I'm not mistaken, the last two home games for the Cowboys, you gave up 48 points to the Green Bay Packers, and then now you gave up 44 points to the New Orleans Saints.
Doesn't look good. And you've got one of the best defensive players around in Micah Parsons, and you're giving up that many points.
I knew this game was over with, or it was like, yeah, this is all but wraps when Shaheed like split the cover two and caught the deep bomb for 70 yards.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is a wrap.
And those are our medals brought to you in part by Southern Security. Whether you're a small business owner, maybe a single mom, maybe you're buying your first home, Southern Security is here to be your trusted financial partner for over 75 years now. Southern Security has been serving the Mid-South community with unbeatable rates, the best service, and always the newest in technology. Wait till you see the new branch they're going to build in Collierville. Voted best credit union in the Mid-South for 6 consecutive years. To find out how you can join that Southern Security family, all you got to do is visit southernsecurity.org, or my favorite part, you can actually call a team member at 452-7900. 452-7900. You'll talk to a person. Southern Security, proud supporter of the Tigers and 901 women. Southern Security, your home team credit union, federally insured by NCUA. And also brought to you by the good folks at the Spirit Shop. It's Monday. I know you got to stock up. You got a big weekend coming up next weekend. All this high school football, all this college football, all this tailgating. The best place to go to stock up is the Spirit Shop, conveniently located in the heart of East Memphis, 4848 Poplar. That's Poplar in St. Nick. It's the little log cabin right down from Clark Tower. You've passed it by a million times. Not so little inside. You'll find anything you need, from rare bourbon to up-and-coming wines to the newest tequila to even a rub for a cocktail that you can put on the rim of your glass. Anything you need, all the local beers, everything is right there at Eddie Connor's Spirit Shop. We take a break. We're going to Atlanta. Our coach, John Thompson, on college football and the SEC. That's next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The best I do's start with Sissy's Blue. Discover bridal jewelry worthy of your big day at Sissy's Log Cabin, along with our spectacular experience that comes with our promise of exceptional quality, service, and brilliant natural diamonds. Experience our expansive selection when you stop by any of our 6 locations or shop online at sissyslogcabin.com. Find your perfect engagement ring only at Sissy's Log Cabin, because life's too short for ordinary jewelry.
Briggs Powder Coating for a beautiful finish every time. Briggs Powder Coating specializes in automotive, ornamental, residential, and industrial coating. With 2 conveyor lines and the largest batch ovens in the Mid-South, Rick's can accommodate all of your powder coating needs. Locally owned and operated since 2002, Rick's Powder Coating will customize a beautiful finish just for you. Drop by or call to see how Rick's Powder Coating can bring color to your life. 901-367-2771 or rickspowdercoating.com.
Hey folks, grab old Penelope and saddle up for the 35th annual Western Trading Days here at Sunrise Buick GMC at Wolf Chase. There's a new sheriff in town and we're slashing prices on over 600 new Buicks and GMC models. You'll get big rebates, huge discounts, and a low APR financing. Get top dollar for your old wagon when you trade in for a new buggy, and financing for just about everyone. Divorce, repo, slow pay, it's all okay at Sunrise. The #1 volume Buick GMC dealership in Memphis, 4 years running. Call, click, or come on into the good-looking store in Bartlett. We make it fun to buy a car.
All financing on approved credit based on 20 through 23 new vehicle sales data.
For over 8 decades, America's farmers have counted on the Little Red Tractor from Case IH, the farm all, to help them make short work of their demanding chores. Well, Mid-South Ag can show you they aren't just for farms anymore. With horsepower ranging from 30 to 105, plus an army of attachments, they can tackle every chore on your to-do list, from hauling and mowing to loading and towing and then some. Stop by Mid-South Ag Equipment or call 662-890-3141 to find a Case IH farm all that's right for you.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloship.
Well, we just gave out medals, right? The awards keep coming. Just announced, Memphis quarterback Seth Hennigan and redshirt junior linebacker Chandler Martin, both named offensive and defensive players of the week by the American Athletic Conference. How about, I don't think I've ever seen one team get both guys. First time. It's the third time, by the way, Hennigan's won a player of the week. First time that Chandler Martin has ever done that. Let's go on south. Let's head to Atlanta. Our coach, that would be John Thompson.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. That happens when you play as well as the Tigers played, and the quarterback and defense played as good as they played, then you're going to get those accolades.
How do you like that story, really, of Jordan Hankins? Took over last game of the year. Matt Barnes basically got a job at Mississippi State, and this guy was a linebackers coach. He comes in, changes the scheme a little bit, which he's running now, and all he's done is just shut down 2 Power 4 schools, Iowa State in the bowl game and now Florida State last week. That's amazing. I'm serious. I've never seen a turnaround. Even your great defenses, I've never seen a turnaround like I have with this guy and this team.
No, he's done a great job. Now, you need to go back and maybe check the records of 1999, maybe just where it was in 1998.
Okay.
And where it was, and I'm just checking. I'm just saying, but man, he just keeps the pressure on the whole time. I mean, Memphis was the best football team all around, but I love the way he kept bringing pressure. He kept mixing up, rushing 4 every now and then, rush 3. But he had, DJ is not playing well. I mean, Mike's got to make a change there. I'm sorry, he's just not it. He is just not it. Bless his heart. But that comes from what Memphis did on defense. You know, they just kept bringing it. I mean, they held them. They did great on third downs. They did absolutely great on third downs. And when you shut down the running game like they did, and then you got a lead and you put the pressure on, and DJ just wasn't up to the task because of that. They sped him up. He's gotten a little bit better, but you got to give credit to the Tigers. That wasn't a fluke. Best team won the game.
It's really funny because that's the feeling that we had at halftime. Was that Memphis was really just the better team. And, I'm afraid we're going to see some of this when you bring 17 new guys in because you had all those other guys leave because you're dependent upon the transfer portal. And if they don't work out like DJU, you've got some issues. I don't know. Maybe it's a hangover from getting killed 63-3 in the bowl game by Georgia, or just the fact that they got snubbed by the playoff committee when Travis Jordan decided not to. Oh, he was hurt, couldn't play in the game, and all those other opt-outs. Maybe this has just devastated their spirit. I don't know. What do you think is wrong with Florida State?
Well, they played three pretty good teams. I think Georgia Tech is underrated. I think they're good. They fell off a couple of weeks ago, but I think Georgia Tech is a good team. Boston College, is a good team. Neither one of those should be losing to Florida State of what we think of as Florida State. Memphis was, as we said, the better team on Saturday. They just did it. I mean, they beat them the way you're supposed to beat people, and Florida State has lost games to better teams, to three better teams. Now, obviously, there's something going on in the locker room. You know that Mike's doing everything he can to do that, to get that corrected. But I agree with you, Dave, 100%. When you bring in 17 new guys or more, then you better hit. I mean, the chances of you hitting on 17 and you get one or two that sour the bunch, then you got a problem. I think that's what's going to happen. I'm not saying that has happened at Florida State. You just don't know all those things. But Memphis pass rush, I think, is what happened to Florida State more than anything else. That's what I thought.
Well, they got
and they kept the ball, and they got 3 turnovers. You win doing that.
They got Cal coming in this week. That's team's already beat Auburn. They're 3-0. He's got a problem. He's really
no, and all the walls are going to start caving in on him, and get all the outside noise. That's when your coaches and your players you got to close ranks, and that's hard to do when you've only had guys there for 4 or 5 months and haven't gone through the whole process of summer workouts, of spring workouts, for a couple of years, and have all the buy-in. I mean, obviously they were unhappy when they got there for some reason, so now it's like, oh, well, it's not always greener. So I guess it's a bad deal. That's part of the bad deal with what goes on.
Georgia, which wins the game, barely wins the game.
Survived.
Kentucky. Now they lost their spot at number 1. Texas, for the first time since 2008, is number 1 in the AP poll. But they won the game. But what was interesting to me, we're in a time of incredible offenses. If you look at Tennessee and Ole Miss, heck, they've scored 359 points between them in 6 games. It's incredible. But this was so defensive, neither team got close to 300 total yards.
Well, both it was an old school 1965 backyard fight. I mean, you got to give credit. You got to give credit to Kentucky. They did an excellent job. But here's one thing, and I don't think people realize about Georgia. They usually play 8 to 10 guys in their defensive front. Well, they were banged up, and they had 3 players out of their 4, and a lot of times they play a 3 down front that had over 60 snaps. Those guys are used to getting, between 25 and 30 snaps and stay fresh, but they were not fresh. So they're with that D line of Georgia being banged up. I mean, Kentucky played them tough. One thing that surprised me is when Stoops punted at the end of the game. At midfield, it was 4th and 1. I question that. I mean, and just as a fan, question, why would you punt? Why would you punt then? You got a chance to go ahead and, Georgia knows how to win. Georgia knows how to survive, and they play to a standard, to a big-time standard. But and they had more explosive plays. They got a few more explosive plays than Kentucky did. But you look back at Georgia, you think about a year ago or 2 years ago, how they're going to have some close games in there. Auburn, South Carolina, and Missouri had them at the halftime. I think it was last year. So
Right.
I wouldn't. I don't think anybody's going to give up on Georgia, but give Kentucky a lot of credit.
Now, Kirby Smart basically said on the postgame that this league, and he mentioned the two games you mentioned, each year he's almost lost a regular season game, and he just said the league is hard, and it is. Look at the LSU South Carolina game. South Carolina have beaten Kentucky. They're looking good. They have a 17-0 lead. Blow the game, miss a field goal that's 39 yards in this day and age. That's almost chip shot, and lose to LSU.
Well, some of the same things happen, and we'll go back to Georgia, Kentucky real quick and bring it back to LSU. Kentucky had 7 penalties in the fourth quarter. 7 penalties. All right, now I'm going to move to LSU and South Carolina. That was one of the worst calls that I have ever seen on blocking the quarterback on the pick six that would have been 105, 106, whatever it was, touchdown. They blocked the quarterback. They didn't take him and slam him. He was not defenseless. He was a guy on the field. It made me sick when I saw that call. That cost South Carolina the game.
Yeah.
LSU played good. Blake Baker is doing a great job coordinating the defense. He's going to bring the heat now, but they're still giving up some big plays, and every now and then that's going to happen. But they make big plays. But probably what I thought was the difference in the game, and really watching the interior line, is LSU did a great job of shutting down Stewart, Dylan Stewart, the D lineman that has been playing so well for South Carolina. I don't think he had a tackle. I know he didn't have a sack. LSU's left tackle whipped him in the game, and that was just, unless you really watch it and watch the lines of scrimmage, you wouldn't have noticed that. But that was probably a bigger thing in that game as anything that happened.
Now, you are a former defensive coordinator, head coach on the defensive side, still do that now. What would you do if you had to play Tennessee or Ole Miss? They've each played a Power 4 school. One was a top 25. And Tennessee, they're just unbelievable. I mean, you can't stop them. And Ole Miss is the same way. The Vols are averaging 64 points a game. The Rebs are averaging 56 points a game. What do you do? Are you amazed at their offensive prowess?
Yeah, I really am, except that they run the football so well. That's why they're scoring so many points, because you can't sit back. If you're going to sit back and you're going to drop 8, or you're going to try to play a 7-man front, get in a 4-2-5, and try to play a 7-man front and spread out and try to cover them, they're going to gas you in the running game. Both teams, Heupel and Kiffin, both like to run the football. It's not just spread it out and do it, but once you get in there, it's one-on-ones, and they spread the field so well that there's just spacing in the field. And they got great quarterback play.
Yeah,
they've had great quarterback play for a couple of years, but that comes back to being able to run the football 100%. If you can't run the football, you can't throw it like that. I mean, you just can't, because people are going to pin their ears back, and then they're going to design a bunch of exotic coverages and a lot of exotic blitzes. You can't do that against them, because you have to defend the run first against them, and then they just kill you when you do that, and you put too many people in the box. There's too much. There's 53 1/3 yards wide, and however deep they have to get, they use every ounce of it. And that's how they do it.
I'm with you. And, if you've got the quarterback, Ian Maleva at the Vols and Jackson Dart with Ole Miss, with those systems, they're just deadly. And look, both those coaches, because if I recall correctly, Heupel had Dylan Gabriel at UCF. And if you've got a quarterback like that with some receivers, I don't know how and running game, as you mentioned, I don't know how you stop him. And, Kiffin's always had a good quarterback. It's not like Jackson Dart is the first one, but he's been spectacular.
No, both of those guys, and they both Heupel and Kiffin have so much imagination. I think they've got great communication skills with their quarterback, and where they both can see through the coach's eyes. Just in talking to both coaches, they're not your normal old school throwback. They're wide open. They are wide open and have great imagination, and nothing's going to stop them in doing anything except except the fear of doing it. And I don't think either one of them have any fear of calling any play at any given time. So yeah, it would be. I wouldn't want to try to defend either one of them right now unless I had the 85 Bears. I might try to line up with the 85 Bears.
That might work. I can't wait for the Tennessee-Oklahoma game. Vols in Norman are 7.5-point favorites. We will be talking. That'll be one of the games we talk about next week. Thank you so much, Coach.
That'll be fun. You too, buddy.
All right.
Yep.
That's our coach.
Hey, great talking to you.
Always. Our coach, John Thompson, down in Atlanta. He's brought to you by the Eflin Insurance Team. I saw Matt Eflin this week. Man, he's a good guy, caring guy, and that's the way his business treats all of you. It's collaboration. He wants to get to know you and your family to protect your home, your car, and your future with life insurance. Collaborative, get to know you. Same thing with commercial insurance, small to mid-sized business. He knows you, your employees, your product, forecasts you out, figures out your budget, and then finds the perfect commercial insurance. Just go to eflininsurance.com. You'll see what I'm talking about. We got a Tampa, TJ Reeves on the NFL and a whole bunch of stuff, including the Memphis win. That comes your way in a minute.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Getting engaged soon? Don't make her settle for one of those knockoff mass-produced rings you find at most jewelry stores. Get to Genesis Diamonds and get her that one-of-a-kind ring she really wants from a world-class designer. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine and Genesis Diamonds has the rings on every woman's wish list. Truly handcrafted rings made in the USA from names like Tacori, Garagio, and dozens more. Not even allowed to sell these amazing brands, but you can get them at Genesis. This is one amazing store owned by a former diamond wholesaler. Every diamond is straight from the cutter with rock bottom prices, and nothing's held back. They'll show you the inside secrets of the diamond business and teach you how to buy like a dealer buys. They can also explain the differences between natural and lab-grown diamonds, so you can buy with total confidence. We're lucky to have Genesis here, so check them out. They're it's extended. You won't thank me. Check them out online at genesisdiamonds.com.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
The PayPal debit card now earns you 5% cash back in the monthly category of your choosing. Groceries, restaurants, health, beauty, gas, and apparel on up to $1,000 of monthly purchases. For me, it's apparel for online shopping with my busy travel schedule during football season. Sign up for the PayPal debit card through the new app.
Terms apply. See PayPal app. This card is issued by the Bancorp Bank N.A., pursuant to license by MasterCard International, Inc.
Locally owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We head to Tampa in a moment. TJ Reeves, partially brought to you by Miramichi, one of his favorite golf courses. I don't know if it's the Claw in his mind. It isn't mine. Of course, that doesn't exist anymore. But Miramichi does. 12 minutes north of downtown, 22 minutes from my driveway in East Memphis. Beauty, competition, best practice facility of any public golf course, a beautiful clubhouse with great food and great service, just great people. From the general manager to the owner to the person that's going to make sure that you get a bucket of balls for the driving range. It's terrific. It really is. And again, you can play 7,000 yards like the junior pros that come, like the Sneds Tour or the Bubba Conley, or you can play way up like old guys do, under 5,000 yards. You've got choice, you've got beauty, you've got competition, you've got the total golf experience at Miramichi. Let's head to Tampa. Here is our buddy TJ Reeves, all smiles. His team perfect 2-0. Tigers perfect 3-0. What's the buzz around Florida about these Tigers, huh?
Class of 92 representing from the former Memphis State University, now the U of M. And let's just say, as I was saying to Zach, he said, how is it down there? Same thing you asked. I said, I got a lot of Seminole avoidance right now, Dave Woloshin. I got people that are running and hiding like they're in witness protection because the Tigers put it on the Seminoles on Saturday. So congrats for that. I know Florida State was damaged and wounded, but you may have finished them off. You probably did finish them off on Saturday. So take the win. And like you said on the call, take the 1.2, 1.3 million. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah. I am curious because all these lines are out. Hold on one second. I gotta see what that Florida State Cal line is going to be. Here it is. Florida State's 2-point favorite in the game. Of course, they were I think 6.5-point favorites in our game.
My joke would be, would they be favored against Leon High School in Leon County there, where you just were in Tallahassee? I don't know. It's bad. I don't know what he can do to rectify it. They're demoralized. You were right there. It is a fascinating stat. They had such a great season last year with Jordan Travis, and it obviously unraveled with him with the broken leg, and they didn't get in the college football playoff. Mike Norvell is now 3-10 at Florida State without Jordan Travis, including the 0-3 start this year. So that's a sobering stat to hear. Can they pull out of the tailspin? I don't know. But right now for the Tigers, that's a sweet victory. It doesn't mean what you hoped it would have meant in terms of getting the attention of the College Football Playoff Selection Committee, but still, you take that kind of win on it. Where do you think that win ranks? Is that Ryan Silverfield's biggest win right now, or what do you think?
I would think probably it's either that or the Iowa State win, which Iowa State's
the Liberty Bowl,
pretty good team in the AutoZone Liberty Bowl a year ago. Since Jordan Hankins has been the DC, great defenses have helped to go with good offense, and they're 4-0. And they've beaten 2 Power 4 teams in that time period. So this is a really, really good run. By the way, ESPN.com has Memphis as the Group of 5 leader. NIU still has the big win over Notre Dame. They got to play Toledo, which beat Mississippi State. They can
How about
each other
that?
off.
That was as eye-opening. How about that for Toledo to go into Starkville? And they're up 35-3, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes. I know you were traveling back. I think they were ahead. Yeah. It got closer, but they were ahead 35-3 on an SEC team. So it's a wild year in college football. I'm just glad that the Tigers are in the mix. Long way to go on all this that's going to happen. The Florida Gators are no less of a dumpster fire, Wolo. It is shocking that the 2 biggest brands right now in this state, Florida and Florida State, can't get out of their own way. I know Florida beat Samford in the middle of the embarrassment against Miami, and then they were embarrassing again on Saturday. They're booing Billy Napier off the field on Saturday.
How
the
about
coach.
This? There was a statement made by a group of boosters that they've already got the $26 million to buy him out. And if you look at Florida's schedule at the end of the year, their last
I
5
know.
or 6 games. There's no way he survives. He's gone.
Right, and, and it may be, to your point, they've just reached the conclusion, it doesn't matter if we have an interim coach or he's the coach, we're going to lose these games anyway. So we got to pay him, so he's going to coach these games. We're all going to suffer together, if you will. And it's inexcusable for him. They've got a very talented mobile quarterback in DJ Lagway who's inexperienced. But he played the Samford game and played brilliantly because the veteran quarterback, the transfer from Wisconsin, was hurt. So for Billy Napier to not only not start Lagway Saturday against Texas A&M, but not even be playing him in the second half while they're behind by 3 scores, it's almost like you're daring them to fire you. I'm around my people in Detroit.
Look at his numbers. They didn't exactly make you go, oh, there's a lot of hope there.
Well, right, but I was around a bunch of Gator people on our traveling party for the Lions game Saturday night before we played Sunday, and I said, this is like somebody daring them to fire him, that he won't even play Lagway here in the fourth quarter of a game that's long decided to get him some playing experience when you're going to have to go to him. So that's a mess, but a lot of fun college football. Lots of intrigue. The SEC flexes its muscle with the Alabama win at Wisconsin once again. What you got Tennessee and Oklahoma this week. My Lord,
that's the game.
So we got a lot of excitement stuff. But real quick on the NFL, Buccaneers get a clutch win. It's not the playoffs, but it's a revenge in the regular season from the playoff loss to the Lions. Baker Mayfield's all over the highlights with his moves, with the quarterback draw for the touchdown. It was fun to interview him after the game on Buccaneers radio. And get home from Detroit with a victory to put the Bucs at 2-0 to play the Broncos later this week. So, all good on that, my friend.
How about the Bucs 2-0, the Saints 2-0, juggernauts? They're scoring points.
I have not gotten to see anything other than a couple of highlights, but what a demolition job! I don't know if you saw some of that, but what a demolition job of the Cowboys. That's in Dallas.
I know, and Dallas has given up points now with Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive players in the league. They never seem to put it all together. That's for certain. So that part's crazy. How about Baltimore 0-2?
I mean, nothing is promised from one year to the next, and the Ravens are a great example. Lose to the Raiders at home. So, you know what though? I got home in time from Detroit. We were a little delayed getting back to see some of the second half of your Bears and that low-scoring slugfest with the Texans. I want to put in for you, before you go here on this Monday, I want you to get hired by Eberflus, your coach. You know what I want your role to be? Every team is supposed to have somebody up in the booth monitoring the replays.
You're not kidding.
To relay down, challenge, don't challenge.
Right.
Whoever Eberflus is using, or if they're blindfolded or using the force or whatever they're doing, they need you. They need somebody else to be saying to him, Coach, the ball's on the ground. Don't challenge it. It's incomplete. Stop wasting time. Stop wasting your. He did it twice last night.
I know.
Both of them. It's obvious on a replay that you don't need to challenge this, and he obviously doesn't have somebody that's either forceful enough or quick enough to say, don't challenge this. Keep your flag. It's obvious on the first replay. He didn't catch it. His foot's not in bounds, et cetera, et cetera. So sometimes those things are bang, bang, tough to tell, and you want to challenge it. But on those, I'm voting for you. I want to get you hired on Sundays.
I'll
take
the
his
gig.
guy with the replay.
I'll take the gig because all you got to do is watch the replay up there and go, don't do it.
That's correct.
And
you
I
click
was
the button
yelling at the TV. Don't. What are you doing? They could have used those timeouts at the end.
Yes.
And I know people may be starting to doubt just how good Caleb Williams will be. And, he's got work on footwork to do in pockets and things of that nature, but you can't blame him. He's got no time whatsoever. I'm going to tell you, the Bears, over the last 5 to 10 years, have consistently had the worst offensive line of anybody in the NFL. Maybe the longest period of inept play in the trench on the offensive side in the history of the National Football League.
Wow. We're already condemning the Bears after 2 games. You had such high hopes after the win last week over Tennessee.
Yeah, but that was defense, and the Bears' defense played darn good.
By the way, I know you have to go.
By the way, is a heck of a player.
I understand. I know you have to go. Will Levis did it again yesterday for the Titans. I saw the highlight against the Jets. What is he doing?
I don't know.
With the flip backwards on the lateral for the fumble, second week in a row. And you even saw, I think it was the offensive coordinator that came over to him and said, what are you doing to do that again? So that's a bit strange, for a guy that's in a high-profile situation. They've gone with him as the starter. This is not high school. This is not the rec league with doing things like that in the NFL. Not good.
No.
Not good, my friend, but listen, I'm wearing the Memphis stuff proudly, the blue and the gray this week. I'm looking for Florida State fans that, again, are in the witness protection program. When I find some, I'll let you know. And other than that, have a great week.
You enjoy? Is this Denver at home or you?
Denver at home. Denver at home. We're home the next 2 weeks with Denver and Philadelphia. So we are here, and a chance to be 3-0. Your chances of making the playoffs are literally like 70% if you get to 3-0. Hard to screw it up. So we'll see. Long way to go.
You can watch CBS Sportsnet 2:30 or 3:30 your time Saturday. You can watch your alma mater against the guys in Annapolis, the Navy.
I like that, and you're coming this way to play the Bulls, and that's shaping up to be an outstanding one. USF Miami Saturday night, USF Memphis looming. Going to be some fun stuff, my friend.
You know what? We need to get Burns. I need you to, on that Thursday before the Friday game, I need Burns.
All right. I'm on the case.
Very good.
I'll go look for Florida State fans and the Burns reservation. You got a deal.
Find money people, because it costs $65 million to buy out Norvell, just so you know. Thanks, TJ.
I don't think we have to worry about that.
No, I don't think so. Bye-bye. That's our man, TJ Reeves. He's brought to you by the good folks at Grind City Brewing. They got a new product. It's a new beer with a citrusy kind of flavor. I'll be telling you more about that as time goes on, but they're always making new products. You know how good Poppy's Pills is. You know the Thaddeus Lager is terrific. That sells quite well. They got that. It's really unique, the craft malt liquor, because they're big Tiger fans. It's local guys, a dad and a son that built this beautiful thing. It's called Tiger Tail. It's that craft malt liquor, unlike any kind of malt liquor you ever had, or your grandfather ever had before, I can tell you that. Great stuff. And now this new product, it's always getting better. Right there, just north of downtown, on the river, a great place. There's concerts there. The modern brewery with the picnic grounds and the umbrellas. You can't beat it. It's a taste of Memphis totally. It's iconic. It's Grind City Brewing. That'll do it for us. Johnny Radio is right around the corner. Big show planned for tomorrow. Zach and I will be back then. Have a great day, everybody. And I think the sun's going to come out later today.